question I've had for a long time is, what counts as an official lethal elimination in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater? And the answer to this question is very important because depending on your playstyle or your stats at the end of the game, you're given different ranks. Like FOXHOUND rank, for example, is given if you're not spotted by any enemies and you do not take out any of your enemies lethally. And you need FOXHOUND rank to 100% the game. So during some of my live streams, I did a lot of trial and error and testing to see what officially counts as a lethal takedown. Because the game gives you a lot of different techniques to take out your enemies, but not all of them officially count as a kill towards the end of the game. And one technique I know for sure does not count is using the electric fence. With this technique, the enemy is eliminated and he is technically dead, but it does not count towards the kill count at the end of the game, and that's the whole purpose of this video. Even though if you eliminate the enemies, what is an official lethal elimination? What I've seen to be a common theme is indirect kills. For example, the electric fence killed the enemy. Snake didn't do it. It's not Snake's fault that the electric fence electrocuted the enemy. So I was looking for examples like that. Indirect kills that technically do eliminate the enemy, but doesn't count towards your stats at the end of the game. So like I said, I did a lot of trial, testing, and error to see what officially counts towards your kill count at the end of the game. And there's a lot of different techniques we have to go through, so let's get into it. But the very first example we're doing for this video is the electric fence. And these examples you're going to see right here are examples I know for a fact. I know for sure, as a Metal Gear Solid 3 fan, these do not count as a kill. We're going to get into more techniques later on that I didn't know at the time. Next is eliminating any enemy guard dogs or any animals in the game does not count. The game only cares about human eliminations. Now this one is a little funny and hard to explain, but during the Ocelot boss fight, even if you use lethal weapons like your handgun or AK-47 or whatever, it technically doesn't count as an elimination because after the boss fight, as you can see, he's still alive. So Snake technically did not eliminate him. And same thing goes for the very first Volgin boss fight. Even though you're using the AK-47 to beat him or whatever, he's still alive when the boss fight ends because you have to fight the Shagohod and you have to fight Volgin again. Keep in mind, if you eliminate Volgin or Ocelot with like the AK-47 or whatever, you're still not going to get their camos. But I'm just saying, for the technicality of does it count as a kill? No, it does not, because at the end of the boss fight, they're still alive.
It's not over yet! There is no escape!
Alright, next is shooting exploding barrels. If Snake shoots a barrel and it just happens to explode and kill one of the enemies, that's not Snake's fault. Snake didn't kill the enemy, the barrel did. Now next is these guys on the hover platforms. If you use the MK22 and put the enemies to sleep, even though they fall and explode, that is not Snake's fault. All Snake did was put them to sleep with the tranquilizer gun. Snake did not use a lethal gun to try to eliminate these enemies with lethal measures. He only put them to sleep. Next is going to be feeding enemies poisonous food like the poison dart frog or the fly agaric mushroom. If Snake throws food at an enemy who's hungry and they die, that's not Snake's fault. Snake didn't force the enemy to eat the poison food, so it doesn't count. Same train of thought for throwing venomous animals or bugs at enemies. All Snake did was throw the animal at the enemy. It's not Snake's fault that it happened to be venomous and it injected the enemy with venom, therefore the enemy dies. That's not Snake's fault, right? I mean, Snake isn't the snake whisperer. He can't tell the venomous snake to bite the enemy. He just threw the snake and the snake just bit him on its own. Alright, so now we're entering the footage of the video where during this whole editing process, I was not 100% sure if these techniques officially counted as a lethal elimination or not. But this is all my test footage from my live streams, and now I can confirm everything you're about to see does not count as a kill. But I'm just saying, at the time of making this video, I wasn't too sure, but now I know. And we're going to start off with using the own enemy's traps against them. Like these traps that fall onto spikes. If you throw the enemy onto the trap, it doesn't count as a kill. Or if you just like drag them over and drop them, same thing, it doesn't count. Or even the tripwire traps that are like up in the trees and they have like spikes on them and they fall down, they swing and hit Snake. If the enemy is right next to the trap and gets hit, doesn't count as a kill. Because Snake didn't eliminate the enemy, the trap did. And did Snake even put that trap there to begin with? No, he didn't. This part of the testing and trials and errors caused me a lot of confusion and frustration, dropping enemies off a ledge and they fall to their death. And this is most important during the bridge area right here. So if you grab an enemy and throw them off the bridge, or you drag their body or just drop them, this officially does not count as a kill. Another weird thing that doesn't count as an elimination is if the enemy slips off the bridge if they're asleep. Like kind of like this when Snake is hanging off the bridge and it's at an angle. Because it's at an angle, if the enemy falls off or slips off, that's not Snake's fault. Next is shooting the ropes on the bridge, and then when you shoot them, the enemy is going to lose their balance and fall. As long as you don't shoot the enemies themselves, I don't think it should count as a kill. Because all you're doing is shooting the bridge. It's not Snake's fault they lose their balance and fall off. And this does not count as an elimination, even if you're using the lethal handgun, or if you're using like a lethal weapon like the sniper rifle. Now, if you CQC like the 3-hit combo and they fall off the bridge or a ledge, this also does not count as an official elimination. Next is drowning enemies in water. If you drag an enemy over to water and they drown, if they're knocked out or asleep or whatever, that does not count as a kill. Or even if they're awake and you use CQC and they go flying in the water, it doesn't count. I mean, it's really not Snake's fault that these guys can't swim. So Metal Gear fans will know, once you get to the Sorrow boss fight, the Sorrow boss fight punishes you with every single enemy you killed in the entire game. You have to walk past them and you have to encounter them in this river. And that's how I've been checking to see what counts as a kill or not, because if any of the guys show up here, then yeah, I officially did eliminate somebody and it's going to count towards the end of the game. And this one guy right here showed up, and at the time I wasn't 100% sure where he came from or who he was. But after reviewing a bunch of footage and doing some more trial and error and testing, I'm like 80% sure I know who he is. And it kind of sucks, I can't be like 100% confident about it, but I don't know who else it can be unless it was like an actual glitch. So that one guy, I'm like 85% sure he is this enemy right here. So I grabbed the enemy soldier, I dragged him over to this thick mud and I dropped him in the mud and he drowned in the mud. And I think that's who this was. Because if you try to throw an enemy into this thick mud, there's going to be an invisible wall blocking them. And same thing if you try to CQC them into this invisible mud. So under natural circumstances, they cannot drown in this mud. It has to be direct. If you're drowning them in this mud, it kind of has to be intentional. So yeah, all I have to say is avoid the mud. Don't purposely drown the enemies in the mud. And then I went back and did some more trial and error. I wanted to see if the sniper rifle, if you shoot the ropes, does that count as a kill? Because you are using a lethal weapon, and it does not. But then I encountered something even more interesting and even more curious, and something even more frustrating. So there's this little hidden secret and Easter egg in the game. If you kill one of the enemies up in the mountains, and then a vulture comes over and eats the dead body, and then you eat that vulture, you technically eat the enemy, right? It's kind of like a weird Easter egg. If you're a Metal Gear fan, you probably know about it. There's like a radio call with paramedic. Anyways, this right here only activates if you do that. But during my playthrough, I didn't kill any of the enemy soldiers, and I did not eat any vultures. I have no explanation for why this happened or how it activated. Like I said, it's only supposed to happen if you kill an enemy, a vulture comes over to eat that dead body, and then you kill the vulture, and then eat that vulture. I didn't do any of that on this playthrough. Only explanation I have is it's a glitch, or maybe I shot down one of the helicopters and that fell and exploded and then killed this guy, or I put him to sleep with the tranquilizer and then the vulture came over and killed him, but I didn't eat any vultures, so I don't know. Anyways, during this playthrough, I was testing with pilots up in the helicopters. If you blow up the helicopter or if you shoot down the helicopter, yeah, it counts as a kill. So avoid helicopters. Alright, to recap, this is my official list for all the techniques that officially does not count as an official kill. Number 1 is using the electric fence. Number 2 is eliminating any animals or the guard dogs. Number 3 and 4 is beating Ocelot or Volgan with normal guns. Number 5 is shooting exploding barrels. Number 6 is using the tranquilizer on the hover platforms and then they fall down and explode. Number 7, feeding the enemy poisonous food. And number 8 is throwing venomous animals at the enemies. Number 9 is using the enemy's own traps against them. And number 10 is dropping enemies off a ledge. Number 11 is shooting the bridge ropes and watching the enemies fall. Number 12 is using CQC and watching the enemies fall from the ledge from the CQC. And then number 13 is drowning enemies in water. Alright, so that's my official list. If you're trying to avoid killing any enemies, like if you're going for a Foxhound run or anything like that, any of these techniques should not count towards your final kill count at the end of the game. Please let me know if you think I'm wrong about anything, or please let me know if you think I missed anything. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong on anything, and I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. But if you want to comment something, go ahead. But hey, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for watching. If you want to leave a like or leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. This video took a very long time to make, a lot of editing, a lot of capturing footage, a lot of trial and error, but it was fun because I was live streaming it with my live chat and they were helping me out. And that's another thing, if you ever want to come to one of my live streams, that'd be pretty cool. I did all this on my live streams. We play Metal Gear games, we play other stealth games, or we just play whatever I'm in the mood for. I'm usually live on YouTube Fridays, Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays. So come on over and say hi. And thanks for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. Check out my channel for more Metal Gear Solid content and more Snake Eater content. I have tutorials, gameplay, funny moments, and just overall cool stuff. Thank you and goodbye.